What's up everybody, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 in the house, bringing to you another edition of the Flash Season 6 review series, and today I'm going to be talking about Episode 5 entitled Kiss Kiss Breach Breach. Now this one is a very different episode to past Flash episodes, and a lot of that is because Barry Allen was hardly in this episode. I think he appeared at the beginning for about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes at the most, but he wasn't at the centre of it all. A lot of it was centred around Cisco Ramon, and I have to say, this would have to be quite possibly Carlos Valdea's finest hour, and the reason why I say that is because in the previous video that I did, I've said that he's been knocking out some of his finest performances in this season, and we got to see that yet again, but this time he took more of the lead, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and this episode was really good. It had a lot of good twists and turns. There was a shocking revelation at the end, and this episode had everything you wanted and more. Suspense, drama, edge of your seat, everything, you name it, it had it all. So with that all said, let's talk about episode 5, Kiss Kiss Breach Breach. Now this episode kicks off with Cisco being arrested by the authorities at Star Labs. We don't know why, we don't know how, but obviously something clearly has happened. But however, before we get into exactly what has happened, we're taken back 12 hours earlier. Now, I like it when episodes do this, like you have a big shocking moments at the beginning and you're thinking, well, how did this happen, how did we get to this point? But then they take you back to the beginning, maybe the day before, 24 hours before, or 12 hours before. So we got to see it in this episode, and I like it when they do things like that. It's really fun. Kind of gives it more of a real-time sort of situation, kind of like the 24 TV series with Kiefer Sutherland. It was a lot of fun to see that. So at the beginning we see Barry and Iris go on a pre-crisis vacation because they're both down about the revelation and the warning they got from the Monitor. So this is kind of like their way of taking their mind off things. So they were out. Barry left Cisco in charge of Star Labs. Cisco reveals that he's replicated Barry's mindset and decision-making into an artificial intelligence, which he's dubbed Barry, B-A-R-I. It's quite funny, really, because when you see the AI, he looks like an animated CGI-generated image of Barry Allen himself, and it's just really funny. And anytime Cisco's not sure about something, he would ask, what would Barry doing this? And he would tell him, and it's quite funny to see that. So after all that, Cisco tries to go to sleep and he wakes up with a pair of scissors trying to cut all his hair off. I've never really tried to imagine Cisco Ramon with short hair. I remember in the Justice League animated series, the Vibe had quite short hair, but it was more of a mullet sort of hairstyle. I can't really imagine Carlos Valdea's with really short hair. Wouldn't mind seeing him try that one day. But anyway, staying on task at hand, Camilla tells him that he's been sleepwalking, probably due to overworking, and he has an awkward moment where he almost tells Camilla he loves her, but he very fumbly backs out of it. Yeah, I can relate to that. So they try to go to sleep, but suddenly the breacher arrives and Yeah, that's Gypsy's dad, by the way, and he tells Cisco that Gypsy has died, and he explains that Gypsy was hunting down an elusive hacker named Echo prior to her death, and he asks Cisco to help him. He finds out that Cisco is no longer a metahuman and he's given up his vibe powers, and he asks if he's been suffering from breach psychosis, which could explain the visions he's been getting. Cisco and Camilla decide to go to the crime scene where Earth-19's collector agents are investigating. An agent leads Cisco over to where Gypsy's body was, right before it was vaporized. So it looks like that Gypsy was on a mission trying to capture this hacker named Echo, and it looks like she was vaporized. I never like being vaporized. I don't think anyone would like that, to be honest. So Cisco and Camilla are told to go home, but they refuse to give up. So Cisco engineers a piece of technology that can provide the location of the weapon that was used by triggering memories of her. So Cisco sits in this machine where he is able to envision exactly what happened. So him and the Breacher hold hands and they have a vision of what exactly happened in the event of Gypsy's death. And they learn that the murderer is none other than Cisco. What the hell? What the hell is this? Is it possible that Cisco's been sleepwalking and he murdered his own ex-girlfriend in his sleep? That's just crazy. But hey, it's the Flash. It's the Arrowverse. Nothing is crazy. Nothing is impossible, as we're always led to believe. So, with that all said, Breacher confronts Cisco, who suggests that he may have accidentally committed murder under breach psychosis. Breacher understands that Cisco wasn't in his right mind at the time when he committed the murder, but gives him an hour to get his affairs in order and turn himself in. Oh boy. Only in the Arrowverse. So, Camilla argues that Cisco is afraid to make any decisions for himself and needs to trust his own intuition. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Cisco then realises that someone accidentally coded his technology to trigger breach psychosis within him. Maybe. So, Cisco gets arrested by collectors, but he leaves behind a holocube that will tell the Breacher the truth. An agent attempts to put handcuffs on Cisco, but realises that he's just a projection of himself. The real Cisco shows up, so it looks like it's another doppelganger. It actually turns out to be another doppelganger of himself. Cisco accuses Echo of planting the gun at Star Labs and hacking his technology in order to trigger the breach across different universes. The evil Cisco, Echo as he's known as, admits that to killing Gypsy, and then the two of them go at it. It's pretty cool, you know, the way they do it. Two doppelgangers fighting each other. Never gets old. Love it. So, Cisco hacks the gun to trigger a force field around him, and the collectors then arrive and arrest Echo. Breacher apologises for doubting Cisco and invites him and Camilla to Gypsy's memorial. He then breaches home and he finally tells Camilla how much he loves her. Also, in this episode, we see Ralph and Killer Frost attempt to take down Ramsey's whereabouts, but have different ideas on how to do so. Caitlin ultimately tracks Ramsey down to his mum's lab. Ramsey tells them that he's being controlled by his powers and harnessed the ability of immortality, so he's finally getting to grips to how to use his powers. Caitlin argues that Ramsey just needs to have faith in himself, and he begins to strangle her. Oh yes.
Blood work is coming.
And also, in this episode, Joe West tracks down Nash Wells, played magnificently as always by Tom Cavanagh, to the tunnels underground. Now, we've seen Nash is trying to find the monitor, but he hasn't done so yet, and they get buried in rubble due to Nash trying to blast the rubble away, and they almost run out of oxygen. So it's quite cool that we got to see Joe and Nash spend some time together, and you learn more about why Nash is really here. Joe tells Nash that he's seen the monitor, and suddenly Ralph appears and rescues them both. Team Flash asks Nash what he was looking for, and he tells them that he has found a way to save Barry. And that's how the episode ends. And also we got to see Barry and Iris return home, and Cisco reveals that he got rid of Barry and he doesn't need the artificial intelligence, and Barry and Iris apologise for Cisco to what happened to Gypsy, and he argues that Gypsy taught him to be the person he needs to be. So overall, very good episode. Nice to see a different character take the lead. We'd like to see a bit more of that next time, but yeah, I really like this a lot, and Carlos Valdez did an excellent job as lead, and I've always said that. Even my friend as well, who you remember has sat in on some of my other videos in the past, Chris, we've said that wouldn't it be cool if Cisco got his own spin-off show and they breached to different Earths and helped different versions of themselves or other characters in the multiverse. Shame really, I would have loved to have seen that. So I'm going to leave this here for you guys. What did you think of episode 5? Did you enjoy it? What did you think of the twist that Cisco from another Earth was actually the one that killed Gypsy? Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see you all next time when I talk about episode 6. So till then, take care everybody.